What is up guys, the Modern Bodybuilder here back at with another video. They had the biggest bodies on the planet in the 90s. But what happened after the spotlight faded? From Mr. Olympia champions to shocking life twists, this is the untold stories of the 90s top 5 bodybuilding legends and where they are now. You won't believe how far some have come or how far others have fallen. Welcome back to the Modern Bodybuilder, the home of legends, iron, and transformation. This is episode 3 of our Famous Bodybuilders Then and Now series, and today we're diving deep into the golden giants of the 90s. These were the icons who dominated the stage, redefined muscle, and inspired a generation. But what happened after the lights went down? From comeback stories to quiet lives off the grid, we've tracked down the 5 top most famous bodybuilders of the 90s to find out where they are today. Trust us, you do not want to miss this ride. And if you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, we've got you covered. They are linked in the cards above and at the end of the video. Now, let's get into it. Before the world knew Ronnie Coleman and long after Arnold left the stage, one man stood at the center of the bodybuilding universe, and his name was Dorian Yates. The 90s belonged to the Shadow, with a physique that looked like it was carved out of concrete and the presence that took the sport by storm. Dorian Yates didn't just win, he changed the game entirely. Before Yates, symmetry and aesthetics reigned, but when he stormed the Olympia stage in 1992, he brought something new, an era of size, density, and freakish conditioning the world had never seen. He wasn't just big, he was brutally conditioned, granite hard with striations that just made the jaws drop. Dorian's approach to training was equally intense, heavy, low volume, high intensity sessions based on Mike Mentzer's HIT philosophy. While most pros were doing double split routines, Dorian trained with ruthless efficiency. One set to absolute failure, every rep with a purpose, no mirror, no glamour, just cold steel and tunnel vision. The result? 6 straight Mr. Olympia titles from 1992 to 1997. No one could touch him. Not Flex, not Shawn, not Kevin. Dorian was bodybuilding in the 90s. But that level of intensity came at a cost. Over the years, injuries piled up. Torn biceps, triceps, and chronic joint pain. By the time he stepped off the Olympia stage in 1997, after his 6th win, Dorian was literally holding himself together. Today, Dorian Yates is a world away from the hardcore gym culture he once ruled. After retiring, he stepped out of the shadows and into self-discovery. He traded barbells for breathwork, and instead of heavy squats, he now practices yoga and focuses on mental wellness, and openly discusses his experiences with plant medicine, including ayahuasca, which he says helped him heal from decades of physical and emotional intensity. No longer the Shadow, Dorian Yates is now a guide of sorts, a man who reached the peak of human physicality and then walked away to explore an inner world. His legacy isn't just about muscle, it's about mindset. Dorian Yates proved that greatness doesn't end when the trophies stop, it just evolves. As Dorian Yates stepped off the stage in 1997, the sport held its breath, wondering who could possibly fill that void. The answer came in 1998, and it shocked the entire world. A quiet, humble police officer from Texas who had never placed higher than 6th stormed the Olympia stage and beat everyone. His name, Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie didn't just dominate from the start. In fact, for years he was overlooked, but behind the scenes, he was transforming. slowly building what would become the most freakishly powerful physique the sport had ever seen. He was a genetic anomaly, the perfect storm of mass, symmetry, and otherworldly strength. Ronnie Coleman didn't just look strong, he was strong. Training like a powerlifter with a bodybuilder's physique, he repped out weights that most pros wouldn't even touch. From 1998 to 2005, Ronnie reigned as Mr. Olympia, tying the all-time record with 8 consecutive wins. On stage, he was untouchable. Off stage, he was still clocking in shifts as a police officer, staying humble, grounded, and relentless. But greatness comes at a cost. The very strength that made Ronnie invincible would eventually lead to his downfall. Years of lifting insane amounts of weight, 800-pound deadlifts, squats, and leg presses with dozens of plates, finally caught up with him. Ronnie's spine began to break down. Since retiring, he's undergone a staggering 13 surgeries to repair the damage. Most men would have given up. Most men couldn't walk again, let alone smile through the pain. But Ronnie, he never stopped grinding. Even in a wheelchair, even after every surgery, Ronnie Coleman remains the embodiment of perseverance. He turned his pain into purpose, running his supplement company, inspiring millions, and showing the world that true strength isn't just physical. His legacy is more than 8 Sandows. Ronnie Coleman showed us what's possible when freak genetics meets unstoppable work ethic. He showed us what it means to suffer for your dream and still smile on the other side. If Ronnie Coleman was the face of size and brute power, then Flex Wheeler was his elegant opposite, the embodiment of 90s aesthetics, symmetry, and flow. And in the late 90s, few rivalries burned brighter than Ronnie versus Flex. One was mass with class, the other was art in motion. Flex was called the Sultan of Symmetry for a reason. With perfect proportions, razor-sharp lines, and posing that felt like choreography, he looked like he was sculpted, not built. But as flawless as his physique appeared, Flex's journey was anything but easy. Behind the scenes, he battled chronic injuries, a near-fatal car accident, and a rare kidney disease that would eventually force him into retirement in the early 2000s. But Flex wasn't finished. In 2017, more than a decade after leaving the stage, he made a surprise comeback, this time in the classic physique division. And although his return didn't lead to a title, it reminded the world of who he was, a fighter with a legacy worth honoring. In 2019, Flex faced his toughest battle yet. Complications from his kidney condition and blood circulation issues led to the amputation of his right leg below the knee. But in true Flex Wheeler fashion, he rose again. This time, not as a bodybuilder, but as a symbol of resilience. Today, Flex Wheeler is more than a bodybuilding legend. He's a voice for perseverance, mental strength, and the power of transformation. His legacy is one of greatness, not just on stage, but on the face of pain, loss, and reinvention. From one of the most beautiful physiques ever seen to one of the strongest spirits the sport has ever known, Flex Wheeler redefined what it meant to be a champion. If the 90s were a battlefield of giants, then Kevin Levrone was the gladiator who kept coming back again and again. With over 20 IFBB Pro wins, 4 Miss Olympia runner-up finishes, and a reputation as one of the most dangerous men on any stage, Kevin Levrone was always within striking distance from the top. What set him apart wasn't just his physique, it was his ability to transform. Kevin could go from off-season to Olympia ready in just a few months, shocking fans and competitors alike With his insane genetics and work ethic, he came this close to claiming the Sandown multiple times, but faced legends like Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman at their absolute peaks. Still, his impact was undeniable. The guy was pure muscle, power, and presence. Kevin stepped away from competition in 2003, seemingly closing the book on his incredible career. But, true to his spirit, he wasn't finished yet. In 2016, after 13 years away, Kevin Levrone made a historic comeback at the age of 52, stepping onto the Miss Olympia stage one last time. No, he didn't win, but that wasn't the point. It was about proving to the world and to himself that greatness has no expiration date. Today, Kevin Levrone continues to inspire. He launched his own supplement brand, mentors young athletes, and remains a symbol of passion, resilience, and longevity in bodybuilding. His legacy, one of raw potential, untapped greatness, and a mindset that says it's never too late to chase the fire. In a decade dominated by mass monsters and freaky proportions, Shawn Ray stood out as a different kind of champion, one built on balance, beauty, and consistency. No, he wasn't the biggest, but he might have been the most complete. With razor sharp conditioning, perfect symmetry, and timeless proportion, Shawn Ray carved out a physique that still holds up today, even in the age of the modern monsters. From 1990 to 2001, Shawn Ray placed in the top 5 at the Miss Olympia every single year, a feat no other bodybuilder can claim. He may never have won the Sandow, but he always was a threat and always in the conversation. But Shawn Ray wasn't just known for his physique. He became one of the sport's most outspoken voices. Over the years, his blunt honesty and unfiltered commentary have sparked debate, praise, and plenty of controversy. To some, he's a truth teller. To others, he's gone too far. But love him or hate him, Shawn Ray has never stayed silent. And that's part of what's kept his name in the headlines long after his last show. Today, Shawn Ray serves as an ambassador for bodybuilding, hosting major events, covering competitions, and even using his platform to spotlight rising stars. He's a regular face at pro shows, live streams, and press panels, keeping the legacy of bodybuilding alive while pushing the sport forward. His physique inspired a generation, his voice still shapes the sport. And whether you agree with him or not, Shawn Ray remains one of the most influential figures in bodybuilding history. 5 legends, 5 legacies, 1 unforgettable era. The 90s didn't just produce incredible physiques, it produced stories of triumph, tragedy, reinvention, and resilience. This was just one chapter of the story. Want the full picture? Watch episode 1 and 2 linked on the screen and in the description down below. See how it all began and how these legends shaped the golden era of bodybuilding. This is the Modern Bodybuilder, building the future, honoring the legends. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you did in fact enjoy the video. See you in the next one.